Music Uncovered.
Hello and welcome to CCR TV. Well, the legendary Stevie Wonder said, in fact he didn't say it, he sang it, and it goes like this. Music is a world within itself, in a language we all understand. So I said to myself, Alfie, let us try and get people who add to this language. And that is the genesis of Music Uncovered. Welcome to the very first episode. And I'm so thrilled and pleased to have with me here in the studio somebody who's been at the forefront of the music scene in Goa. He, in fact, is not a cartographer, but he has put Goa on the world map. And it is something really amazing that he has done, is doing, and continues to do so. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the man himself, Colin de Cruz. Colin.
Thank you, Alfie. Thank you for having me on your first episode.
Yes. I couldn't think of anyone else because, music and Goa and you, they kind of go together.
Thank you. Big honor.
And I'm sure that, many budding musicians and established artists seeing you here will say, okay, we also want to, to compose and do something like that. And so that's the aim.
I hope so, yeah.
So when did your musical journey begin?
It began when I just finished school, actually.
Okay.
And at that time, like most musicians, I wanted to be one of the Beatles.
Did you have the hair? Did you do the hair?
So that was the first obstacle. I wasn't allowed to grow my hair. Anyway, music was always a passion from the time, from as far back as I can remember.
Right.
And my furthest memory is listening to a live band. It was a magical moment, and that stayed with me till today. I think that memory is what, subconsciously stayed in my mind and eventually made me want to be a musician.
Wonderful.
Actually seeing a live band perform.
Now, Beatles, they are kind of like a pop rock band, right? But you are now an established jazz artist. So how did that, was it a transition? What is it that drew you to jazz?
It was an evolution, like most youngsters, I was into rock, I was into pop, and I was into a lot of noise.
Okay.
And I gradually got into jazz when I decided to play professionally.
Okay.
Now in Bombay, all the 5-star hotels used to have resident bands.
Yes.
Performing 6 nights a week.
Absolutely.
And I was lucky to get into one of those bands, even though I didn't know a single jazz standard.
Right.
And in those days, the nightclub bands, as they were called, used to have a repertoire of only jazz standards. It was the nightclub music of that time. The early 70s, And I suddenly found myself feeling, like at the deep end of a swimming pool. And I had to learn to play jazz standards by ear. Now, one reason why I developed a good ear is because, when I was playing a song I didn't know, I tried my best to hit the right notes. And of course, I hit the wrong notes very often. And man, the look I got from my fellow members, it was enough to kill.
Sharp ears, I guess.
Yeah. So, that actually, the fright of getting those smoldering looks from those fellow band members made me actually hear around the corner and, develop a ear to hear what comes next in a song.
And you always started with the bass guitar? Or?
Yes.
Oh,
I always played bass. In fact, I played bass before I learned to play the guitar.
I see.
And I played my third show before I learned to play my second chord.
Oh, wow. that's jazz for you, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Amazing. When you talk of these jazz standards, you're talking of songs like Autumn Leaves and
Fly Me to the Moon.
Yes, yeah. We'll go on that orbit a little later.
Sure.
Yeah, but and did people know they used to ask for these songs, requests?
Most of the requests at that time was always jazz standards.
Okay.
And people actually danced to that, in the nightclubs. So today, of course, it's EDM. that makes people dance.
Very
Times have
true.
changed. Yeah.
Yes, as you said, there's been an evolution.
Yes.
I think now we need a revolution to,
Of course.
to get people to perform live and to even compose. And
Right.
that's basically why, this show is all about encouraging youngsters.
It's a great idea.
And young at heart.
Yes.
Yes, we are young at heart, right?
Right, right.
So I'm sure during some of these shows, there must have been some really unique or special incident, if you care to share, something which lifts the spirits up of a musician.
Of course, it's always the applause. The
Okay.
audience's applause is what drives a musician on stage. And audience connection is what makes the band magical. If a band is performing really well, it's because they're connected to the audience.
True.
And that is the reason why a live concert is always one up on any studio recording. A studio cannot create that environment of a live concert.
Most certainly. Most certainly.
So some of my best playing is always in a live concert,
Yes.
in a live performance.
Yeah, not trying to say we should have recorded you live. Okay, because we are in the studio.
But Alfie, I'll do something live as well on the show.
Ever since this chat started, I've been trying to avoid looking at this beautiful instrument in your hand. It's small, but it packs a punch, I believe.
Yes, this is something new. It was invented just about 4 or 5 years ago.
I see.
It's called a U-bass.
All right.
And this company here,
Kala. Right.
are the first people to invent it. And of course, now there are many brands.
Okay.
It is a tiny instrument, but it has the sound of a big upright double bass.
Wow. Okay.
And that is what actually got me hooked onto this instrument,
Okay.
I'll just play a note for you too. So you see, such a tiny instrument packs in such a huge sound.
Yes.
And the best part is I can pack it into my pocket.
Literally, yes.
Yeah.
It's slightly bigger than a ukulele, right?
Yes, actually it's called a ukulele.
U-bass.
It's called a ukulele bass.
Okay,
Yeah, a U-bass.
Okay.
And this has now become my main bass.
Right.
I own a lot of different basses, but this is my primary
Go-to.
bass.
This is your go-to.
Yes.
I can see, yes.
I'm connected to it now.
You're connected to it. And yes, of course, he's going to be playing. Don't worry, relax, wait. This is the first show and just the first few minutes of Music Uncovered here on CCR TV. We'll have lots more action coming your way. I'd mentioned it that you have put Goa on the world map, the world music map. Why did you call your organization Jazz Goa? Why not? Did you think of Jazz Bombay, Jazz India, or anything else?
To me, there are two magical words, jazz and Goa.
Right.
So I brought two magical words together with
Correct.
Jazz Goa.
Absolutely.
Now, the reason why I could take our music out to the rest of the world is thanks to the internet. The internet gave me a global stage. I recorded artists and put them on that global stage. People from around the world, not just the Goan diaspora.
Right.
It's people from Brazil, from Poland,
Russia.
Yes. They're actually downloading our app. We have created an app. They're downloading our app and enjoying our music around the world.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's just jazz music on that.
It's jazz
Primarily.
and also other genres.
Okay.
Yeah.
But primarily, yeah.
One reason why I also record other genres of music and anything that sounds good is because, jazz is an all-embracing sound of music.
Yes.
Jazz embraces every other sound of music. You see, that's why there's jazz rock, there's jazz
pop.
country,
Yes.
there's jazz classical. You name the genre and there's a jazz attached.
Correct.
Yes.
I remember we are part of a group and somebody asked Colin to name two very popular jazz songs and he said La Bamba and J. Lau's Rock or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you can take any song and basically...
Actually, that's the whole idea about jazz. You can't call it a jazz song, but you can turn it into a jazz song. Any song
Correct.
can be taken, and if you can improvise, you are a jazz musician. Take the song, twist it around, change it around, stamp it with your own identity,
Right.
and you are a jazz musician.
And they say that a jazz musician never plays the same song twice, the same way. In a sense.
A jazz musician will never improvise in the same notes when he performs, because every performance, it's all about the moment.
Right.
When it comes to soloing and when it comes to improvisation on stage,
yes,
it's all about the moment. Your frame of mind at that moment will bring in notes, your interaction with the audience, your interaction with the fellow members.
Correct.
These are all things that affect you at that moment. So I always call jazz music of the moment and in the moment.
In the moment. Absolutely. Wonderfully put. I remember sometimes, as an MC for weddings, I could hear behind me the band saying, dog, dog, elephant, elephant. I'm like wondering, are they calling me names? No, they were giving the key for the song, for the next song to start. All my fellow musician friends, okay, with due apologies. I'm not naming you guys, but I don't know, somehow whenever I've attended jazz events, I've never noticed anything like this.
Jazz also has their own, musicians also have their own codes and signs. Like, if you're going to repeat the ending, it is
utter.
And if the key is C, it's...
Yeah.
So there are signs like that. Yeah.
Okay. Signs and symbols.
Yeah.
That's what, music is, in a way. So, how does one go about, writing a jazz song? Or is it you just write a song and then you jazz it up? What is it?
Yeah, it's all about, the song is just a vehicle.
Okay.
It's a vehicle for you to, or a platform for you to improvise any song. You create a melody, and then you give spaces to the musicians to play their own interpretation of your melody.
Correct.
So that's what actually happens in a jazz song, in a jazz tune.
Okay.
I can take Hey Jude, play the melody, and then in between I'll play my interpretation of that melody. So that makes Hey Jude a jazz song.
But you can't change the na, 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 na.
You could turn it into shoo, 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 shooby doo boo.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you done it before?
No, I haven't tried that, but you've inspired me. I'll try it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And this, scatting, is it when jazz singers forget the lyrics, or how did that come about?
Yeah, scatting is like, see, I have an instrument that I can use to improvise.
Right.
A singer, her instrument or his instrument is a vocal cord.
Right.
So she can sing a song and then she can interpret the melody by scatting, which is just another way of using her voice as an instrument.
Yeah, like a kind of a vocal solo.
The way a saxophonist would solo, she would solo.
A vocalist.
Yeah, and use syllables that are just made up spontaneously,
Yes.
It doesn't have to be shooby-dooby-doo. She could just
make up,
whatever. Choose any syllable.
In fact,
and
you should never write those syllables down.
Yeah. So it's all about creating at the spur of the moment spontaneously.
You have any favorite jazz standards, or you're not biased?
There are quite a few, there's the American Songbook and the jazz standards from the real book are what most jazz bands refer to when they're performing impromptu. Like recently we had a nightclub residency in Delhi at the Lodi Hotel, and we invited a singer from Canada, an established jazz singer.
Wow.
She came down, and from day one, without a single rehearsal, we went through a 3-hour set.
Fantastic.
Simply because all of us knew jazz standards. All she had to do was tell us the key, and we were ready with it. Yeah. So that's how jazz standards help.
You just need to know the right animals. Cat, donkey, dog, elephant.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Fly Me to the Moon was...
Yeah, that's one of the most common ones, In fact, if you allow me, I would like to demonstrate.
Allow you? I mean, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to hear something from your side.
Now, this is a recording done in my studio.
Right.
That has the singer singing one chorus of Fly Me to the Moon. I have a piano and a drummer. And I deleted my bass part.
So that you're going to play it live.
So I'll play that along with the track now live.
Excellent.
And I'll show you how jazz works, how I interpret the melody. And I play a bit of my own interpretation in between the song. So that will give you some idea of what jazz is all about.
Yes, I'm sure viewers will be thrilled and excited with this performance.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with songs, let me sing forevermore. You were all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
I tell you, I was halfway to the moon and then beyond. It was absolutely fantastic. Just the feel, of this and this gloriously, divine instrument. Now you have inspired me. I'm going to at least learn the regular uke.
I hope there are many more bass players who will take up this instrument because I find it magical.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. You don't you need to play the right notes, not many notes, right? Some people say fretboard is too small.
Absolutely, actually, Alfred, you hit the nail on the head. It's all about your choice of notes. When it comes to improvisation, each one has a palette to choose from.
Absolutely.
Your choice of notes will either touch the audience or it may slap the audience.
And usually the jazz musician and the drummer, they are kind of brothers in arms, side by side.
Normally the rhythm section, as it is called, is made of the piano, bass and drums.
Okay.
And
if there's a brass section, they would be...
Yes. They are layered above the rhythm section. The rhythm section in a jazz band is the piano, bass and drums.
Okay.
The bass is the link between the drums and the piano. So you see how important my job is.
Well, never in doubt. I was never in doubt as far as that is concerned.
Yeah.
Now you also, pioneered the International Jazz Day celebrations in Goa. So tell us about that and that famous letter from Herbie Hancock.
Right. Alfie, I heard about UNESCO deciding on having an International Jazz Day. And as soon as I heard it, I was the first one to organize an International Jazz Day concert in Goa and in India.
Oh.
It caught on much later when other organizations started.
And different cities.
Yeah. So I'm very proud to say that Jazz Goa is the only organization that had the International Jazz Day concert right from its inception. And we continued doing so right through pandemics or whatever.
Online.
Yes.
That time. Yeah. But it didn't stop.
Yeah. It continued every year.
Yes. And I was privileged to host the last one, which happened. And it was...
And I think that was the best one so far. And of course, the best is always yet to come.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. But in terms of the range of artists and the kind of music that was performed there, definitely.
Truly, yeah.
Correct. Why is it that there's not much of original music, coming out, especially from Goa, given the richness of talent, abundance of talent that is there?
I think, Goan musicians are the most amazingly talented bunch I've seen.
They've made a name for themselves all over the world, actually.
All over the world.
Goan
And,
musicians.
the thing with Goan musicians, I think, is they are too contented. They're not ambitious enough to, reach for the next level, try and create their own sound, create their own music. They're just happy playing covers and, making a lot of money playing for weddings.
Yeah.
They're not looking at the next level. For me, music is all about reaching for the next level. I still practice. I still try to improve my playing after 40 years of playing.
Yeah.
So,
No, but that, yes.
yeah. So it's all about, as long as you're playing, you have to be looking at the next level.
A true musician is never really satisfied with what he has done so far, and
you're
wants
always,
to. Yes.
always trying to reach for the next level.
Okay. So
And in
are
that-
now like certain singers to be classified as performers, or because when you say you're a musician,
Right.
then you're supposed to make music. No,
Now the word musician has got a very wider.
Even DJs are
Yeah,
musicians.
today a DJ can be called a musician because he also creates sounds and And
True.
I think it has a wider spectrum now.
Okay.
Music it's not just about singing or playing an instrument, it's about creating sound. Yeah.
You encourage a lot of artists by offering your studio space to them, and even you help them with, even if someone has an original song, then you help them to get the music for it done.
Yeah, I noticed almost everyone in Goa is a musician in some way or the other,
Yeah.
I've seen and heard youngsters actually creating their own music, which is not, shown publicly, and they probably, don't want to take up music as a profession. So many of them I have recorded
Okay.
and I put them up online and YouTube, and people are really enjoying their originals.
Nice.
I always encourage originals, but my studio is open to any kind of music and any kind of artist who wants to be heard.
Well, we spoke about music, we spoke about jazz. Now let's talk about Goa. And there was something called the Goan song. Yes.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I've written quite a few songs about Goa, because Goa is, of course, an inspiring place. It's a beautiful environment for creative artists.
Absolutely.
One of the reasons why musicians from all over the world land up in Goa.
Correct.
And I've been fortunate to work with all these musicians from around the world.
Yes.
So you see, Alfie, I don't have to travel around the world.
The world comes to you.
The world travels to me.
you. Absolutely. Fantastic.
Yeah. So among the songs, a couple of songs I would like
Our viewers,
your
yes.
viewers to see two songs I wrote. One is called the Goa song, sung by Sancho Menezes,
Wow.
and the other is Goa Going Gone. That one I sang.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was the Goa song about?
The Goa song was about how beautiful Goa is,
Okay.
and the song says it all. You'll hear it. Goa Going Gone is about how Goans are leaving Goa, living in another country, and talking about how to save Goa.
Good to be in Goa. All roads lead to a bar. Happy people all around. Wait for their sound. Goa state of mind stops daily grind. Never ever work too hard. Life is so sad. Woi, woi, boy. Goa simply chill, content and fulfilled. It's time for siesta. then time for fiesta. Goa's just a place to end the rat race. Set your spirit free while sipping on Fanny. The band begins to play, the people start to sway. There's music all around, they are moving to the sound. Goa's conquer groove makes you wanna move. Fanny fire oh so strong, just party all night long. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sound. Goa's conquer groove makes you wanna move. Fanny fire oh so strong, just party all night long. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Good to be in Goa, all roads lead to a bar. Happy people all around, wait for their sound. Goa's state of mind stops the daily grind. Never ever work too hard, life is so sad. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Goa simply chill, content and fulfilled. It's time for siesta, then time for fiesta. Goa's just a place to end the rat race. Set your spirit free while sipping on Fanny. The band begins to play, the people start to sway. There's music all around, they are moving to the sound. Goa's conquer groove makes you wanna move. Fanny fire oh so strong, just party all night long. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Goa's the place to be. that say go again. Goa going gone. Come sing along. The feeling's so strong, I just can't be wrong. It's Goa where I belong. Goa, she's close to my heart. Loved from the very start. I'll thump on my chest, love Goa with zest, but only from quite far apart. Goa going gone. Come sing along. The feeling's so strong, I just can't be wrong. It's Goa where I belong. Goa going gone. Come sing along. The feeling's so strong, I just can't be wrong. It's Goa where I belong. Yes, it's Goa where I belong.
You know, our channel reaches out all across the globe. So in case some of you outside of Goa, Goinkar, if you're watching this program, then please, you also, I would encourage and urge you to write music, to write, you know, your perspective from the outside. Sometimes we are in Goa, our perspective is one, and someone from out has another perspective. But let it be a positive perspective. Let it create a positive impact,
Sure.
right?
And as you speak, Alfie, I would like to invite these people who write songs. Some of them may not be able to put it to music. Bring it to Jazz Goa. We'll produce it for you. We'll turn it into a song. We'll turn it into a video.
And what more can you ask for, right? I mean, if you want an agent to represent you, then contact me. My number will come on the screen. Yes, but you know, I just before we bring the curtain down on this edition of the show, I have to ask you the chicken and egg question, which I plan to ask every musician that's going to be here. In your mind, what comes first, the melody or the lyric?
Or the lyric.
Yes.
I would like to say, it's the rhythm that comes first.
The
beat.
So there's three.
Yeah.
The rooster also is enter the
Yeah,
picture.
so it's the beat.
Okay.
You build a melody on the beat,
Oh,
and then you create a harmony for the melody.
okay.
And then you have lyrics over it. So, that
So are you saying that
3-4
because
layers.
there are words that can
Yeah.
always be substituted,
Yes,
which you can
yes.
rhyme,
Right.
but the rhythm is what
To me, the
sets
rhythm comes first. Yeah.
That's the foundation.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
can you give me an example with that base of yours? Your Goa.
So, when I composed Goa song, I wanted a nice catchy beat.
Right.
So I chose salsa. Salsa was the beat, and I got a nice hook bass line for it to go with the drum pattern.
Right.
And then I came up with the melody.
Okay.
Once I had the melody, I wrote lyrics that would, fit into the melody.
Ah.
And then I got Sancho, who's not a singer, to become a singer.
Yes. There is this thing, that there is no such thing as a perfect lyric, and there's no
Yeah.
such thing as a perfect melody.
Right.
So why should there be something as a perfect vocal rendition? This is
Right.
not an Idol or a Got Talent show,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's just music is just an expression,
Yes.
right?
As long as you can carry a tune, in Indian music it's called sur and tal.
Right.
As long as you can sing in tune and you can be in rhythm, you are a musician. Yeah.
And Goan should find it easier because we have
Yes.
Sorp and Tel, Sorpatel, and for the Sur and Tal. So you've already, invited budding musicians, lyricists, and songwriters.
Right.
So before you go, I want you to, give a message to young musicians, established musicians, and seasoned musicians as far as composing goes.
Yeah. To all musicians,
Yes.
I would like to, point out that there are 3 stages in your career. If you choose music as a career: imitating, assimilating, and innovating. Now this show, Music Uncovered, is all about innovating, about creating your own music.
Correct.
When you start off, you're always imitating your idols, you're imitating their style, you're imitating their playing, and that eventually assimilates into your subconscious. This is a gradual stages, 3 stages. And finally, in the 3rd stage is where you innovate. And that's where you create an identity for yourself. That's where you create your own sound. That's where you create your own place in this big wide world of music. So remember, imitate, assimilate, and don't forget to innovate.
Yeah.
And come on the show, Music Uncovered.
Absolutely. And whatever you do, wherever you play, please don't irritate anyone, especially your neighbors, especially your spouse, especially the people in the house. I didn't mean for it to rhyme, but it just came out like that. Colin, thank you so much for...
Thank you, Alfie, for having me on the show. Yeah.
No, it's like, really, it's given a huge boost and a kickstart to Music Uncovered.
Thank you.